Welcome to Flow. Let's get started. Today we'll start off in a kneeling position. Bring your hands to rest on your knees or your thighs. Allow your eyes to close or find a soft gaze. Take these first few moments to bring your focus and awareness to your breathing. Every inhale, allow expansion into your lungs and your ribs. And every exhale, get a little taller. Bring your right hand behind your right foot, push your hips up. Option to reach your left arm up and overhead as you push your hips forward. And then lower your hips down to the mat. You can take a little circular motion as you carve through. Bring your left hand outside of your left pinky toe, push your hips forward, pull your right arm back. And we'll continue to move between these two sides. You can swirl around, kind of swoop to the front. Right hand outside of right pinky toe, push your hips forward. Lower your hips, swoop this around, left hand comes down. Hips lift up, right arm reaches up, push your hips forward, nice big breath. And then continue to move around at your own pace. Option to linger a little bit further, maybe in the hip opener, or maybe in this contraction. Infuse your breath with your movement. It doesn't exactly have to match, but notice expansion that you can find with your breath. Bring yourself to a tabletop position and push your hips way to the right. Hold here for a moment and very slightly shift your hips forwards and backwards. So you're getting a little bit deeper into your outer right thigh, outer right glute area. Take a few more moments here. Breathe into this space. Bring yourself back to center. Now push your hips way to the left. And then very, very gently slide yourself forwards and backwards. And then we'll do that again. Push your hips way to the right. And just real easy, go forwards and backwards. Getting a little bit deeper into your outer right glute. And we switch, push your hips way to the left. And again, that really gentle, kind of gliding movement going forwards and backwards. And take a few more. Bring your hips back to center. And start to circle your hips down and around. So push your hips way to the right. Bring them down to your right heel, down to your left heel, and then way over to the left. And find a few more of these circular movements, maybe going a little bit deeper into your spine. And last one in this direction, bring yourself back through center, and we'll start to push the opposite way. So your hips can push to the left, swoop around towards your left heel, your right heel, hips go over to the right. Maybe your hands come slightly in front of your shoulders, just so you can find a bigger range of motion into your hips. And then bring yourself back to neutral tabletop, slide your right knee forward, extend your left leg back behind you. Try to walk your fingertips so they come back by your hips as you lift through your chest. Now you can stay here. If this is feeling a little too intense, bring your fingertips slightly forward. The idea here is to get a nice stretch and opening into the front of your left hip flexor. So breathe into that space. Think of your chest being nice and open as well. Bring your hands down to the ground and then extend your right leg up into a three-legged dog. Right away, bend your right knee, open your hip. Take a few moments here. You can roll out through your ankle, spread your fingers nice and wide. Any sort of movements that you'd like to take into the joints of your right leg. Find a few more moments of freedom here, whatever that looks like or feels like for you today. And then bring your right foot back down to the mat, downward facing dog. Take a huge breath in, bend your left knee. Energize your right heel down to the ground. And then switch, bend your right knee, energize your left heel down to the ground. And switch again, bend your left knee, energize your right heel down. Bend your right knee, energize your left heel down. One more time each side, actively push your palms into the ground. And then switch. Bring yourself back to neutral downward facing dog and start to roll your body forward, lower your hips down. You can keep your toes tucked under, push down into your hands as you lift your chin and your chest. Lower your knees and push your hips back to a child's pose. Flip to the tops of your feet. Find a few moments of breath in your child's pose. Breathe into the space between your shoulder blades. Allow your ribs and your lungs to expand with breath. And bring yourself back up to a tabletop position and slide your left shin forward. As your left shin comes forward, allow your right ankle to move back. You can walk your hands back so they're in line with your hips and your chest is lifted up. The back of your neck is really long, almost like someone's taking the tops of your ears and pulling them up towards the ceiling. Breathe into the length and space in the front of your right hip flexor. Take a few more moments here. I know it can feel kind of intense, so if you need to slightly pitch forward, allow that to happen. And then bring your hands down to frame your left knee. Flip your back toes, three-legged dog, left leg up into the air. Bend your left knee, open your hip, and start to take any sort of movements that may feel good. That could be a roll of the ankle, a scrunch of the toes, maybe finding internal and external rotation. Place your left foot down to the ground, downward facing dog. Find a few moments of breath here. Push your heels into the ground. Breathe in. And breathe out. Roll yourself forward, unfurl through your spine, lower your hips, lift your chest, lift your chin. You can keep your toes tucked under. Push down into your palms, bring your gaze up, find this juicy back bend. Lower your knees to the ground, shift your hips back, child's pose. Maybe your forehead makes contact with the mat. Make your way back to tabletop, bring your feet forward, ragdoll forward fold, soften your knees, drop your head. Grab elbow to elbow, allow a little more weight into your torso. Maybe take a gentle swing or rock from side to side. Take a few more moments of breath in this released position. Take a moment to wiggle through your jaw. Release any tension you may be holding on to there. Release your arms, soften your knees, and slowly roll yourself up to stand. Your shoulders, your chin, and your gaze is the last thing to arrive. Once at the top, reach your arms out to the side, up overhead, and widen your arms, forward fold, bring your hands down to the ground. Keep your feet as they are, about hips width distance. Bend your knees and come into a little squatting position. So this is meant to target into your calves and Achilles. And if your heels are lifting way high up off the ground, that's okay. Just allow that stretch to happen into the backs of your lower legs. And then start to shift your weight back so you're sitting down. We're gonna come all the way down onto your back. Pull your knees into your chest, grab for fingers or wrists or forearms so you're making this tiny little ball. You can take a little bit of movement here, maybe a little shift from side to side. We'll move into a figure four with your left ankle on top, cross your left ankle on top of your right thigh. You could keep your right foot down to the ground, or you could thread your hands underneath your right thigh. Allow your shoulders to release down into the mat. Flex both of your feet as much as you can. Try to release through the front of your throat. Next, we'll take this shape and move it into a twist. So with your left foot crossed over, bring your legs so they come over to the right. So ideally, your left foot is coming down to the ground. Now your left arm can extend out to the side, or you can extend it up overhead. Plant your left foot down. Try to pull your right knee up as high as you can. And if you would like a little something more, take your right hand to your left knee and find a very, very gentle push, like pushing your right hand into your left knee to get a little more open. And if you'd like to pull your right knee even a little bit higher, to find a little more opening into your outer left glute, you can take that. Now it's kind of a strange twist. Breathe into your belly, big breaths in and out. Slowly make your way out of this. Come back onto your back. And right away we'll move to the opposite side. So you cross your right ankle over your left thigh. You can stay here. You can thread your hands underneath your left thigh if you'd like to bring the shape a little bit closer towards you. Allow the points of your shoulders to release down into the ground. Think of breathing into your belly. and then start to move into this twist. So your right foot will move over to the left side. You can kind of shift your hips to the right. You can expand your right arm out to the right side, or maybe the right arm comes up overhead. The higher you're able to get your right foot to your left shoulder, the more opening you're going to find into your outer right thigh. And if you'd like to, you can take your left hand and press it into your right knee or your right thigh. Take a few more moments just to breathe into this space. And then make your way back onto your back. Come into happy baby. Catch the insides or outsides of your feet. Pull your knees to your armpits. You can extend through your legs, or maybe one leg at a time. You can take a gentle shift from side to side, maybe wiggle through your jaw or buzz through your lips. Bend your knees into your chest, rock and roll yourself to an upright seated position. Extend your legs in front of you, reach your arms up overhead. Seated forward fold, release up and over your legs. Try to allow your torso to be as heavy as possible. Heavy through the body, loose through the jaw. Breathe into the space between your shoulder blades. Take a few more moments here just to allow yourself to be heavy with breath. Allow your jaw to be loose. Roll yourself up. Make your way to a cross-legged seat. Bring your hands to rest on your knees or your thighs. Palms can be pointing down or up. Allow your eyes to close or find a soft gaze. Take any little movements through your shoulders, your chin, your jaw, anywhere you're holding on to some residual tension. And give yourself a few final moments of breath here. Every inhale, allow your lungs and your ribs to expand. Every exhale, allow yourself to grow a little bit taller through the spine, through the back of the neck, and all the way out of the crown of your head. Thank you for joining us today. And that's your flow.